Another thing a lot of people just don't grasp, they just can't realize this. There are no such thing as countries in the spirit world. Let me repeat this one more time so that you will realize this. There are no such things. There are no such things as countries in the spirit world. If you grew up in Norway and you have an attachment to the people that you grew up with, okay, that's understandable. That you speak the language is understandable. That you have some kind of connection to the history of the place, that's understandable. The same if you are from, let's say, Ecuador, or you're from Guatemala, or you're from Japan. But understand this. In the spirit world, there are no countries. They're not. I mean, first of all, countries are imaginary constructs. There is a real outworking. For example, people in an agreed territory, they use a certain language, and you can recognize this at the traffic signs, at, well, the maps they print. So there's a practical outworking in reality, but that thing, countries themselves, they don't exist. But a lot of folks, they're so trapped in this mindset of countries. Why they are attached to the validation they get from the society that operates in that territory. So because they're so attached and so into the validation they get from that society that operates in that so-called country, they have to, let me tell you this, because they are so into that validation, they become blind to the fact that that whole thing called society is a model of conflict and of avoidance. They forget that countries are imaginary constructs. They forget that in nature there are no spiritual walls. For example, between Sweden and Norway, they ain't there. Why am I mentioning this? It's because, understand this, y'all. Satan and his demons, they don't care about countries. They know people do. So Satan and his demons work through countries and within countries. They work through political leaders. They work through entertainers. Yeah, they do, because that's the way to trap people. Look, if you are in Ireland and you're in a pub and a lot of people are drunk and they are fighting with one another physically, and you go to, let's say, Peru, and there's also a bar there, and those men are fighting and being drunk. Look, the difference is in Ireland, their skin tone is lighter, and they speak a word construct, a communication construct that's called Irish or English. And in Peru, which is in a warmer physical climate, and the skin color is much brownish, more brownish. They speak another communication construct called Spanish with an accent. But it's the same thing going on. Seeking relief through alcohol. And, okay, so whether it's an alcoholic from Ireland or Peru, is still an alcoholic. And it's still an open door for demons. So a demon can easily get attached to someone from Peru that's an alcoholic, as they can for someone from Ireland. First of all, demons understand human languages that develop over time. But demons, well, they have their own spirit language that they speak with one another, which we humans cannot even understand. Why am I saying this? Because a lot of folks, when it comes to the spirit stuff, they view the spiritual through their cultural upbringing. And look, I have nothing against you. Let me say that if you're from Portugal and you enjoy the Portuguese language and Portuguese wine, all of that, there's nothing wrong with that. Absolutely not. There's nothing wrong with feeling an affinity and the connection to the place you were born, and there's nothing wrong with any of that. But the moment you take all of that, and you become narrowed down in your thinking, and you're only thinking from that point of view, and everything you view from that point of view, now you've lost perspective. And when you view the spiritual from that societal perspective, man, you're led astray. And look, this whole thing of countries and ethnicities is causing a lot of conflict among human beings, and demons feed off those conflicts. So that is the interest of the paranormal in countries and in politics. That is their interest, to keep people trapped in those conflicts. So next time you hear people protest against globalism, what do they want? They want to have their country back. They want to be divorced from the rest of humanity, so that only them and their nation or their kin interact with one another. So they're already operating in avoidance, which is darkness. Avoidance of reality, that they're all part of the same human race. And if you have someone that embraces globalism completely without any regard for local differences or local disputes, well, that's also a form of avoidance. But when you look at it carefully, it's both avoidance. It's both a distraction. And often people that want to fight against what's going on globally, they don't know scripture. They don't read the book of Revelations. They don't read the prophecies in which it makes plain that this movement of globalism is something spiritually that works out in the political realm. This whole beast system is a paranormal thing. And if you read in the book of Revelations, the Most High permits this to happen so that he can glorify himself later when he comes and destroys this one world's beast system. And look at this, folks. You have different, what we call countries, different flags and all. But when you go to the top, those leaders of those countries, they worship the same pagan gods, but with different names. So those that lead the countries, they know the truth. But it's the people that are stubborn that want to hold on to their validation. Am I saying now that if you are, let's say from Suriname, that now you have to be against everything that Suriname means, or that you have to give up enjoying Surinamese cakes, for example? No, I'm not saying that. You can enjoy, your connection to the territory called Suriname and the Surinamese language. You can have all of that. But just realize that if you lose perspective and you are completely into the validation of Suriname, Satan has you. The same if you're from Bosnia or wherever, and your country becomes all to you. So I just wanted to make this video to alert you about this. Because make no mistake, the trends are going on now. Populism against globalism, you have anti-Fi riots, you have neo-Nazis are rising up again. You even have many YouTubers that come out and make statements that they long to that the world returns to the Third Reich. For real, you have people like that. I remember about 10 years ago, if you would even suggest that the Third Reich, Nazi Germany, was a good place to be, man, you had to watch out because people would arrest you in many cases. Today, people become more tolerant to such views. You see how things are shifting? Look, these shifts don't just happen. They have a paranormal source, is to keep people distracted and trapped in darkness. So be aware. That being said, be at peace.